Just days after Donald Trump swore in a conspiracy peddling far-right commentator with no relevant experience as the director of the FBI, he announced that he would be making Dan Bongino, a conspiracy peddling far-right commentator with no relevant experience, see a theme here, as the deputy director of the FBI. Now, it's important to note that in the Bureau's 117-year history, the FBI's second in command has always been a career agent with the kind of institutional knowledge necessary to actually run the Bureau's operations, which makes total sense. The last full-time deputy director, Paul Abate, had logged 25 years with the Bureau before being appointed to the position. Before him, Deputy Director David Bowditch had 23 years at the Bureau under his belt. Before him, Deputy Director Andrew McCabe had 20 years of experience. And before him, Deputy Director Mark Giuliano with 25 years of experience in the job. That's what he came in with. So between the previous 4 deputy directors, that's almost 100 years of experience at the FBI. I'm not a mathematician, but that's a lot of years. Now, Dan Bongino's resume, on the other hand, includes 2 years working for the New York Police Department, 12 years in the Secret Service, 3 unsuccessful runs as a Republican candidate for office, and about a decade as a far-right MAGA pundit.
My entire life right now is about owning the libs. That's it.
The FBI is lost. It's broken. Irredeemably corrupt at this point.
Jack Smith, of course, the special tyrant investigating Donald Trump for a fake crime he made up for a fake insurrection. The only thing that matters is what? Chad. What matters? Anyone? Power. Power. You can see what I'm about. Power.
Seems like a nice guy. Now, joining me now is NBC News Justice and Intelligence correspondent Ken Dilanian and conservative attorney George Conway. Okay, Ken, let me just start a little bit with the history here, because I mentioned the deputy directors and the history of how many years experience they typically have. That's something it seemed that Kash Patel promised or said publicly he might continue. So what happened here?
At least according to the FBI Agents Association, they say that Patel committed to them that he was hoping to and interested in hiring a career FBI agent, as has always been the case in this job. And when you think about it, that would make sense. He's an outsider. Yeah. He's a flame-throwing MAGA partisan outsider. You need somebody in there that knows how to make the trains run on time. This is an incredibly powerful job. Some people were telling me today they think the deputy job is more important than the director job, because the deputy actually supervises operations, is in charge of all the special agents, in charge of all the field offices across the country, has his hands on some of the most sensitive intelligence and counterintelligence operations in the United States. And this is now being handed to a guy with no experience in the FBI and a long experience trashing the FBI.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yes, there's double. The deputies in many of these agencies are actually the ones who run the day-to-day, thousands and tens of thousands of employees. They do a lot of the work. No offense to the people at the top. George, let me ask, today, Trump's post announcing Bongino, he added to his resume that he's I'm just going to get this quote for you. You're going to love it. You probably saw it. One of the most successful podcasters in the country. What do you make of this pick?
Well, it's got nothing to do with actually running the FBI as a law enforcement agency. It has to do with owning the libs. I think there's a little bit of that with Donald Trump. He hates the FBI. The FBI investigated him for his various crimes, including the Mar-a-Lago stolen documents case, which was an open and shut case. But yet, Dan Bongino said that everybody associated with that case should be fired. Mm-hmm. And so it's really about revenge. It's about owning his enemies. And also it's about retribution. I mean, he really does, Donald Trump. It's just ingrained in him. He wants retribution against his enemies. And by picking 2 people who are completely loyal to him and who have spread his disinformation about January 6th and about Spygate, even back in 2016, that's what Bongino got on the radar screen for, and COVID, which Bongino got thrown off of YouTube for permanently. I mean, all this stuff, it's just these are the 2 perfect people to run an FBI that's controlled by a president who's a criminal.
Let me ask you, Ken, I mean, you are so well sourced within the FBI. I assume, but you tell me, that after Kash Patel was nominated and confirmed, there was this hope that they'd have somebody who was one of their own, right? As the deputy, that who could run things and help maybe serve as a protective layer. What has the reaction been?
It's been shock and horror, because you're absolutely right. They thought, look, as controversial as Kash Patel is, if you put a career agent in there as the deputy, then he can explain, no, sir, that's illegal. We can't do it that way. We have to follow the rules and the law. Now you have two bomb-throwing MAGA outsiders. And look, here are some of the things that Dan Bongino has said. Dan Bongino said that the FBI lied a few months ago when they said, we don't know who the suspect is that planted the bombs outside the RNC and the DNC the day before January 6th. They had this whole campaign seeking information from the public. Dan Bongino went on a podcast and said, oh, that's wrong. They know who did it. It's a conspiracy. Now he's going inside to run the place. And that's what I'm hearing today is just horrifying people who work there.
I mean, I can't. Some of these people have been there for decades. Let me ask you, George, one of the questions I get asked a lot, I mean, just when you're in a train station, is like, what are the guardrails? What can be done to stop this? I mean, I think there are a lot of people who might be on a political enemies list, who might be targeted, just who are concerned about what they could do with their power. What are the legal guardrails here to stop the two of them from...
I mean, the legal guardrails ultimately would be the courts.
Yeah.
Because if they want to bring punitive prosecutions against people, they still have to prove crimes beyond a reasonable doubt. But at the end of the day, in terms of just the mismanagement of the agency, I mean, 38,000 people work for this agency, and the two people at the top don't know anything about how it works. And they've lost a number of people at the top levels already. So it's just, I don't know what the remedy is other than we're stuck with them, and it's not great.
I would say one thing though, another guardrail are the people that work there that will follow the rules and the law. This is a rule-based organization. They're not going to just start investigating people without predication. They will quit, many of them, before they do that, and so we'll find out about it.
But the problem is, who are they going to hire to replace these people? It could be, these January 6ers.
This is a real possibility. I know you both know these issues so well. Ken, you're the hardest working person covering this agency. Thank you. George, thank you so much. We'll talk more about this, unfortunately, soon, I bet. I hope.